psychological makeup. See, a child, what is a child? No? It's a clay. It's a clay. We are all bloody unpaid potters, that we have to give a certain concrete shape and to form to the clays that we have received. So each of us has to do, 10 years down the line, both of you turn parents, isn't it? I mean, the way the society runs. So maybe the things we are discussing in the guise of art and science of analyzing conversation, you might have got certain idea that which you might implement when you grow up, become parents yourselves, isn't it? So this emotional aspects. Another term that comes to my mind is emotional intelligence. You know, the displaying when you are communicating. I said it initially that through conversation we are displaying emotions, but here we also have to be tactfully aware to whom are we allowed to display our emotions. We cannot keep on displaying our emotions to all and sundry whosoever come across, because your emotions might be used against you as a weapon. You might be manipulated. So that's why there is a term comes into being that in emotion also has to be tackled in an intelligent way. Emotional intelligence. Arpan Arman, you might have heard of this. Oh, bloody, I'm not an emotional fool. This is a this word is thrown, tossed every day. Yeah, he's an emotional fool. No, no. Being emotional is not a fool. Okay, everybody is having. I have still read so many autobiographies, so many books and all, and I haven't come across anybody who is a heartless monster. Even if you read the work of Adolf Hitler, then you would come across as Adolf Hitler as a very tender human being who ultimately had to wear this hat of being an autocrat, of being responsible for annihilation of Jews. 6 million Jews were killed at concentration camp at Auschwitz and many other places. So this tenderness always lies. But to whom are you displaying your emotions? You come of age, then you say that you need to tackle your emotions as a property. The way you hide your goals. Arpan, do you display whosoever passes through your lane? Hey man, I have got 10 grams of gold at my place. You don't display it, isn't it? The same way, your emotions are your gold that you don't need to give it to everyone. Okay, but you need to show them to those deserving people. You need to show them so your emotions are not manipulated at your own peril, right? So the emotions are also treasure. Use them in or in your communication in a very intelligent way.
All
Because
right.
see, I have no hesitation in saying that you guys are of age that there would be a lot of temptation. You'd be entering into relationships. Of course, this is the time. So and then how you are manipulated, how you give or you invest your 100% emotion to a relationship, but the other party is taking it very casually. Okay, and when the other party walks out, I get a lot of case studies. A lot of people come to me for psychological counseling, and then they say that I invested so much. It's like that buying mutual fund from a company and the company getting bust, or like buying shares of Kingfisher Airlines and the Vijay Malaya running, packing off to London, and then you are left for with nothing. So this way, the conversation, this is displaying of emotions. I would just like to connect the dots, and then those displaying of emotions so in the means of communication in our day-to-day life have to be done in a very rational way, analytical way, and that is a sign of a real intelligent person. Particularly nowadays, when the emotional things are constituted as major weaknesses. But again, I would say that being emotional is not a sign of weakness. Only the human beings, have to have the emotions. You cannot say, no, no, I don't have any emotions. It would be a utter lie, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Obviously.
And I would like to open a question to the house here. There was this thought that was lingering on in my mind, that what could be a major uh, discriminating factor between a person's emotional makeup, his psychological makeup, and his state of mind. Would any of you have some answers for me?
That
Could you come again? That I can answer any of your questions. Whatever questions you have, you can throw me the questions. I can answer you. Just could you elaborate a bit on that?
Uh, what could be the what could be the difference, the very basic difference between the emotional makeup, the psychological makeup, and the state of mind? Because
Yes, very good question that you have asked. Say, Arpan, you are studying medicine.
yes, sir.
Okay. So now I can connect more with you because I would like to give some objective facts for you. If I
Certainly.
if I ask you, please indicate your mind. Please indicate your mind through some physical gestures. You will say here, say my mind is very strong, right? We say it, right?
Yes, sir.
But where is the mind? There is nothing like mind. You have the brain here, the way we have hands, eyes, tongue, cheek, nose, hair, legs, hands, all the brain is an organ. But if I ask you to show me mind, you just go for the entire human anatomy, okay, dissect the person and show me where does the mind lie. Probably you would not be able to show me. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
now brain is an organ like the rest of the organs, but through the various activities of neurons, the neurons are always colluding, collaborating, fighting, flaring, jumping up here, there, billions of neurons. So mind is nothing but a bunch of thoughts. Okay, and your thoughts are shaped by the circumstances. Your circumstances are shaped by the environment that you live in. Okay, so these experiences, your day to day experiences, provide the heaps of and layers of emotions upon your psyche. Thought. Mind is nothing but a bunch of thoughts. You say, I'm not feeling well. And you are passed through MRI, the doctor is saying, I don't see any physiological damage to any of your part, but still, why are you not feeling well? Because those, if Sigmund Freud said that conscious mind, the subconscious mind, your experiences which are being gathered, they are basically getting congregated at your conscious subconscious level, and your subconscious level is affecting your conscious behavior. You find a lot of people without rhyme or reason, without any valid reason, you would always find them gloomy,
Certainly, sir.
despite there is no physical evidence, because they have. And again, I don't want to go beyond the sensory objects. I don't want to take you to, I am talking in a very objective way, not in a subjective way. So through since your childhood, and then now there is another factor which has been scientifically validated, that the medical science has also found certain number of genes which we inherit from our parents, which are responsible for our some certain aspects of our behavior. Now, even a gene has been found out which is responsible to make anybody feel very low on certain occasions, on certain parts of the day. See, I come across, you might have seen a lot of people who are very fluent, good speakers, but if they are all of a sudden their name is called and they see their mind, everything vaporizes. They say, I was streaming, my mind was streaming with multifarious ideas, but the moment my name is called, all of a sudden, all these ideas vaporize. Where did they disappear? Because the lack of confidence, which you have experienced through your experiences, maybe that particular gene has also been activated. So it's all whole the accumulative factors. So many things come together, so many things accumulate, so many things are getting heaped upon your subconsciousness. That's why, Arpan and Arman, this is my sincere advice to you. Always read positive literature. This is my always try to converse with those people who have got a positive bent of mind, who have got the positive set of rules and regulation, those who are a disciplined ones. Otherwise, if you seek advice, or if you interact with all and sundry, what they'll do, that they will throw all the dirt which they have they have been carrying upon you. So you become not your friend through the means of communication, through the art and science of conversation. What you are doing, there is a transfer of dirt taking place. The other party has emptied himself of the dirt, dirt in the terms of emotional fragility, the terms in terms of emotional weaknesses, the term dirt in terms of the psychological damaging aspects, the loose cannon words, no, that
Yes.
irresponsible behavior. So always make it a habit. You probably you guys may find it boring listening to all these lecture from me.
No, sir. No, sir.
Uh,
Certainly not.
there's a school of philosophy called positive psychology. Positive psychology also deals with the conversation that please choose the person you are interacting with, because once you are into a college and university, you are all of a sudden exposed to the thousands of the souls coming from the diverse backgrounds, having the diverse philosophy of life, coming from the diverse social, economic, cultural, ethnic background. So don't choose the group that you interact with. Choose those people with whom you can learn, from whom you can learn something, and do not interact with those who are always the crybabies. Otherwise, what will happen? They're going to submerge you. There is a story, Arman and if you are in keen, I would like to illustrate what I meant. I said it through a story. A person lost his way in jungles. Okay, so he lost his way in jungles, and then he passed through all those different undulating, difficult terrain, and he managed to reach a part of the mountain. He was, of course, lost. Then what he found, there was a guy writhing in pain, crying bitterly. Now you might be wondering what was the person crying, but the other guy who had lost the way, he was very happy to see some soul over there. And then, but he was in great pain. The person who was already there at the summit of the mountain, what he found, that there was a wheel with the axle of the wheel buried at the top of his head, and the wheel running at the top of his speed, and all the blood oozing out, coming out. You can understand the agony of the pain. Just imagine a situation if a big wheel is buried, axle buried on the top of your brain, and it's running at full speed. Then you can understand the degree of pain
I've
the
I've
person.
I've actually heard about this story. There was a big
Uh,
lead up to it.
Let me complete.
Yeah, sure, sure. I won't
Then
spoil. Yeah.
then what happened, that the person out of the compassion asked the other guy who was in that trouble, what happened? The moment he asked, there was a sudden transition. That will shifted from the person's head to the person who inquired about what happened. And then the same axle buried and the wheel running at the whole speed, and the other person got cured of everything, and he did it. Okay, fine, thank you. Now you wait for somebody to lose his way and come to the place, because this mountain is the cursed one, that whosoever comes here has to carry the burden of this running wheel at the top of his head. The same thing happens if you are interacting with the people having a negative mindset. What they are doing, they are transferring that will from their head to your head. The kind of agony, the kind of dilemma that they are going through, then you will have to suffer. So choose your friend very carefully, having a positive state of mind, and through this means of communication, what we have been doing, nothing but these positive aspects.
All right. So now I'd like to go on and continue this conversation about this really cliched situation, right? So as
Yeah.
you know, like whenever you're interacting with people, they tell you about some stuff, good and bad. Okay, the good stuff, you take it with pride. Okay, you feel like, yeah, it's good. This guy's complimenting me, but you often ponder about that one thing that one guy said, and it was a complaint. So how does this nature usually balances things out? But how does your mind balances the good and the bad stuff? If the bad stuff, you're keeping it with yourself, you're overthinking it. So how do you account like what type of an attitude should you keep towards this type of situations? Any thoughts?
Firstly, I would like Arpan to throw some light on that, then I'll join.
Yes, sir. So I believe that when there is a little flaw in us, and we should always, be of a teachable spirit. We should always be of a teachable spirit, and should always look up to the people who challenge us on our ideologies, who challenge us uh, on our weaknesses, who tell us what our weaknesses are, and who say that, because at the back of their mind, they at through some aspect of their life must have learned that this thing might not be so useful for us in the days to come.
True.
For example, I have a little bit of a, what should I say, a procrastinative behavior, but and I need at certain times I have needed people to push me to the extent that you can do this, you have what it takes to do this, and and eventually I did it with by the grace of the Almighty. I did what they were trying to influence me to do, and uh, people many a times uh, unless they have an ulterior motive, and unless they stem from a kind of background which harbors some kind of a cynical mindset, they would not like to think of you as a person who is bad. I
True.
believe uh, uh, in this school of thought. Sir, please, would you like to
Uh,
shed a little light on this
Taking a
subject?
cue from what Arpan has just illustrated about procrastination. So one very nice quote is coming in my mind, which I read in a book called The Principles of Management by Terry Franklin, one of the great works on management. There's a quote on that. There's a topic, a chapter on procrastination. And the writer says that procrastination is my sin, which I want to remove from tomorrow onwards. So when you read the irony, that he agrees that procrastination is sin, but again he's procrastinating. That saying I will remove it from tomorrow. Okay, just in a lighter vein. Coming to that, see, the question is when you are interacting with somebody, the person is throwing the good and the bad stuff at you, and how do you handle? How do you distinguish between the grain from the chaff? That's your ability. So here I'm reminded of a theory called, which I read long back, say 20, 25 years ago. It's called transaction analysis. Both of you would agree me on that account that communication or the conversation is nothing but a kind of transaction. The transaction of ideas, the transaction of information, the transaction of emotions, feelings, facts, opinion, isn't it? There is no denying the fact. So when you are transacting with the other person, remember this. This would help you a lot in your days to come. So take it as a part of my pedagogy. Uh, Anybody communicates from one of these three levels. It's called parent, child, and teacher. PAT. Parent, adult, and child. This transaction takes place between two individuals, and say these are two individuals interacting, having this parent ego, teacher ego, and the child ego, both of them. And then how you are interacting, say, now the parent in you, metaphorically, I'm representing the parent in you is saying, "Oh, Arpan is saying from this parent ego stage, oh, Arman, then you should have been more careful and responsible. Man, you promised to meet me the other day, but you did not respond." Here, the parent has to be communicated by from the same level of parent. But here, the child is responding, "I will not go. Why are you telling me that I will not come? No, I had other work to do." So the communication is taking place, but one is communicating from the parent, other is responding from the child level, right? The same
Correct.
thing, say the adult is communicating with the child. Now the adult is saying that no, you should have called me 10 minutes before you reached over there. And then here the child is responding, no, 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 you have always been responsible. I will not meet you again. So when you are exchanging your transaction with the other person in the method of communication, that remember one thing, you should keep yourself shielded. Remember, we are all prone to getting infected from coronavirus. But we are trying to shield ourselves by wearing masks, by becoming more sensitive to the hygiene aspects of our life. The same way, when you are communicating with that, you have to keep yourself shielded. You should have the sagacity, you should have the ability to differentiate between what is to be absorbed and what is to be thrown. Otherwise, what would happen? Always remember that story of the wheel person, the shifting person. But it's not that easy. It happens that you communicate with somebody, you return home happily. It happens that you communicate with somebody, you come home in a very gloomy state of mind because you opened up yourself. You opened up yourself, you let all their negativity or the positivity, either way it works, seep into you. So it affects you. And then that conversation starts impacting your personality. See, again, one medically tested example. A
Okay.
placebo was tested. A placebo was tested on a group of cancer patients at John Hopkins University in America. Right?
Yes. Hmm.
They were told they were at the third and last stage of cancer. They were told that, see, you guys already are aware that you are at the last. You've got few days to live, few months to live. You are at the third stage of fourth stage of cancer, but this is a wonder drug that had just been discovered through a chance, through a serendipity. Something happened at lab level, and they stumbled upon this wonder drug which can cure cancer in 2 weeks. Please take it religiously. Group of 15 cancer patients who were at the advanced stage of cancer, they were served this placebo. And do you know, surprising, startling revelations? Out of 15, three of them took it very positively. They actually believed. They told their mind, they were fully convinced. If the doctor is saying that it's a wonder drug and it has got the properties to cure you of even advanced stage of cancer, they took it religiously. The other 12 were skeptical. They had already given up. Here, you give up from here. You don't give up here. You don't give up through your hands. You give up from here. Then 12 of them were very skeptical. They took it, but in a very skeptical way. They knew that their ends are near, nothing can change or reverse the situation. After 3 weeks, what happened? That all those three who had the positive mindset, who took the communication from the doctor so seriously that they are consuming wonder drug, what they found? That the cancer started receding. And one of them was fully cured of cancer.
Oh.
I read it in a medical journal. One of them was fully cured of cancer. There was no trace of cancer. But while this experiment was going on, the rest of those 13, 12 group who were very skeptical, who were taking it, there was no change because they had not accepted it. Once your mind has rejected it, your body can't accept. It goes everywhere. Whether you're communicating, you are in a relationship or whatever you read or understand how you let your others' experience affect you. Out of those 12, told the guy, "Arey, this is nothing, this is not a wonder drug. You are given nothing but a placebo." Do you know? Within 3 days, the person who had been declared completely cured of cancer, the cancer returned in a more adverse form. And next 2 days, the person died. You are told here this is nothing but a placebo because I have overheard a conversation between two doctors and we are part of an experiment and we are not being offered any wonder drug. This is nothing but placebo. And cancer not only returned, the person died. If you remember the story, then you would also remember that when people are communicating with you through the positive things or the negative things, so you need to keep yourself shielded. You need to be aware what to choose, what not to choose. You both of you have come of age that where you need to train your mind in a way that your mind becomes not only strong enough to accept and reject whatever is good for you, whatever is healthy for your physical, emotional, and psychological well-being. That's my take.
All right. So, any further comments to add, Arpan, here?
Uh, there are a few things that I believe would, in a physical person-to-person conversation, could really influence how a conversation could go, and they are the relationship between the speaker and the listener are could play a very important role. One of and it could also and the others could also uh, be that what kind of a posture a person holds is a kind of indication that how much is he involved in a kind of conversation.
Uh, Very relevant question that you are raising here. This pertains to, there is a concept of deep listening.
Yes, sir.
There is a concept of a deep. You not only need to be communicating through the barrage of words. When you are communicating with someone, you need to be a patient and a deep listener also. If you are telling me and I'm listening attentively, but psychologically it has been proven that why the good communications do not take place. Arpan and Arman, the good conversation and the good communications are turning out to be a reality. People don't communicate, they react.
Yes, sir.
They're very quick to respond without realizing, without letting the message of the other person sink in. Firstly, let the message sink into you, then only you respond. And then, but we are in a so hurry to dominate the space. We need to dominate the space, otherwise, my sense of authority is being taken away. That we are always something is going on the back of my mind. I tell you, Arpan, uh, I haven't prepared anything for this topic. It's all spontaneous.
Wow, sir.
It's all spontaneous because I was sleeping. Armin woke me up at 5 o'clock. Papa, you have to go live with. Okay, fine, I'll join with both the boys. So it's not that I want to blow my own trumpet because I look it as an opportunity to share my experiences, whatever I have studied or I keep studying. So the very relevant point that you have raised, and without having discussed this aspect of this, what you have raised just now, this entire discussion of art of analyzing conversation would not have been complete. So thank you, Arpan, for raking it up.
All
Right.
right. So,
I have
okay.
a couple of more things to add to that. So when a person is communicating with you, you are into this conversation. You need to give the other person a deep and patient hearing. See, when you give a deep and patient hearing to what the other person is communicating, you will see that a lot of problems automatically get sorted out. I give you another
Certainly.
clue. Do you know what is the best way to build a good rapport and a good relationship with the other party? Your parents, give them a patient hearing.
Certainly.
And this is very relevant in case when you are interacting with any female, form of female in the sense, in whether so your mom, your sister, or your girlfriend or your wife,
Yes, sir.
while they are communicating, you give them a patient hearing. If you give them a patient hearing, then even if you do not respond to that, they would have felt that my problem has been sorted out. It's all a psychological aspect.
Yes.
So this is also one must practice. Then only this whole idea of conversation would be complete.
All right. So, I think this might be my final question for the two of you. So, let us say, give an example that we have two people who have the same amount of proficiency in a field, okay? But the thing is that they belong to different stratas of society, okay?
Hmm.
So, how would the conversation usually vary from person for each strata, like for person to person? Would anyone like to elaborate on that?
See, different strata, you mean to say that different economic background?
Yeah, yes, more or less. Yeah.
In a you see, if you're talking about the workspace,
Yeah,
see,
but having the same proficiency. They are
yes,
equally good, talented.
we're talking about the workspace. At a workspace, basically, our conversations should not be affected by the strata the other person is coming from. Okay, like for example, There are two examples which I can quote here. There are societies where your achievement is worshipped, not the strata you are coming from, not the caste or class that you belong to. Okay, so when you are working or communicating with the people coming having the same proficiency but coming from different strata level, but again here the
Excuse me.
workspace is a neutral place. The strata things should not come into vogue. We should try to communicate at a neutral space, because here workspace is the building relationship is the other aspect, is the informal aspect, but the formalization of the workspace means that all three of you or all four of you or whatever be the number of persons, you are there to achieve a certain objectives. So we should try to let go all the strata level and welcome the person, because the person who is coming from a lower strata of course will have some certain kind of complexities. The person may sound to be over enthusiastic because he has not been given the proper due respect by the society, so he would expect the degree of society to be respect to be given at least at his workplace. Therefore we should be more accommodative in nature, and we should try, this is the responsibility of every worker at that workplace, to create a neutral environment where the proper communication and the perfect communication must take place without giving any recognition or due importance to these factors, extrinsic factors, which basically disrupt the flow of communication instead of strengthening it. At least we can make an effort to do this.
Yes, certainly.
Arpan, would you like to add anything to this now?
I believe that is most perfectly explained by Sir, and I do not think I can add any more to that.
All right.
But I would certainly like to elaborate a little more on what I thought about could also help in shaping the art and science of interpreting conversations is the ability or the inability to complete the sentences could also influence how a conversation could happen in the future, uh, or you can derive a relative deduction from the inability or the ability to complete a sentence, or to leave it open ended,
Hmm.
to for the person to realize that there is something
Hmm.
more to the conversation. And sometimes I like to give uh, a few, what should I say, abstract comparisons between things that are totally unrelated.
Hmm.
But I would like the listeners um, to help to uh, use their uh, use their mind, to use their thinking and reasoning capacities uh, to link the two situations together.
Hmm.
Like in a Please do not take this the wrong way, all you viewers. And thank you for so passionately listening to us all this time. And this was I remember a conversation that I had with one of my friends a few days back. Was He asked me, how are your studies going? And I did not want to respond to that as quickly as I got the question, so I gave him a metaphor that uh, one of my friend's father had a heart attack. So those are two completely and perfectly unrelated topics, but I want you to understand what I am going through is the kind of a situation of the father.
Hmm. There are many abstract ideas of communicating. You know that there are a lot of people that you meet that they speak in riddles.
Yes.
You know, how are you feeling? Hmm. If I ask you, how are you feeling? I say, I'm feeling good. I'm not feeling good. I'm unwell. But if you say, hmm. So it's not a very riddle kind of answer or the cryptic answer.
That's the worst kind of answer overall.
And they expect you to carry on the conversation.
Exactly.
And then see, when they themselves are exposing themselves to the ways of interpreting their whom, and when you are interpreting it wrongly, then they say that you are not communicating properly. so so they are like, and it happens at workplace, like a person having a short memory span, right? Did I tell you to do this work yesterday? No, sir, you didn't tell me. Yes. No, no. What do you think, that I have a poor memory? You are blessed with poor memory. What are you claiming? So it happens, but let us put it that way, that the communications, we all have been communicating, the communications are tossed around. Let us take concrete steps to systematize our art and science of conversation. Let us converse in a proper way. Let us converse in a positive way. Let us be pragmatic. Let us be emotionally intelligent, and collectively put together, we shall always sharpen the tool of communication. Remember, because whatever we do nothing but communicate. I think that sums up the entire session of this art and science of analyzing conversation. Is it?
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
Certainly.
All right. So I think we are nearing the end of our of today's session. So do we have any more topics left to discuss now?
I think that we have dissected the entire topic in its entirety. And then, if anything is left, all of us are here. We can have one more session, isn't it?
We have time and time. Arpan, any concluding statements? Have we missed anything which you would have liked us to discuss?
No, Ariman. I believe that everything that I had planned for today has been most perfectly completed, and I am so thankful for giving me this opportunity uh, of being a part of this session. It has been a wonderful evening, and thank you so much, sir, for being a part of this as well. And uh, I
Thanks.
am. I do not have any more words to add to.
I would say I would like to thank both of you for letting me join this session. And probably we had a very wonderful discussion on different aspects of communication. And let's hope that we pick up some more topics in days to come, and we shall carry forward this discussion further.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you, Arun and Arman, again.
All right. So thank you guys. But this was my fourth episode for my podcast. One more, and I'll be ending this season for this year. All right, guys. Thank you, Arpan, and thank you, Dad, for joining my session. I hope we can have part two of this entire session. We can have new subjects to discuss. I had such a nice time having a discussion with you too. So thank you guys for tuning in. This is me signing off.
Thanks. Thanks.